Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in with us as we share here, Protecting the Vision. We're going to have another awesome webinar for you guys today. So I want you to go ahead and like and share this page wherever you may be tuning in from. If you're tuning in with us on our YouTube channel, you can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would love for you to see all of the past webinars that we've done. And also, if you're on our Facebook page, National Optometric Foundation. You can also go ahead and like our page and share it with your family and friends, your church, your community, so that we can have a greater impact around the globe. We are also sharing this on our National Optometric Foundation website as well. So you can go and get information about who we are, what we do. I'll go into a little detail about that before we bring on our speaker for this evening. And also, if you would like to donate to our foundation to allow us to continue to do the great things that we do in the communities and the impact that we try to make around the globe, we do have a Cash App, and you can do that tonight. Even something as small as $5 is just good to help us continue to do the great things that we're doing, and that is $ Protecting the Vision with our Cash App there. My name is Timothy Brown, Dr. Timothy Brown, Treasurer for the National Optometric Foundation, and we are the financial arm for the National Optometric Association. And what we try to do is support students who are thinking about going to optometry school. We're supporting students who are currently in optometry school through scholarships. We are very thankful for our donors and sponsors who have allowed the National Optometric Association and the foundation to be able to financially support students that's thinking about going to school or they're currently in school, but also reaching out and allowing community leaders to impact and make an impact in their community in various ways there through their services and also their education to the community. We want to continue to do these things. We want to continue to do free eye exams each year at the National Optometric Association Convention, which is this year coming up in July. We'll be in Fort Lauderdale, and there will be a community that's in need of vision exams. So we're going to have volunteers there, doctors from all around, and we're going to have technicians and opticians there, and family and friends are going to be there. And they're usually VSP. They come alongside us, and they'll provide a truck that will go ahead and make the glasses that same day, and people go home being able to see better. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to protect the vision. We're trying to provide service. We're trying to make sure that we're impacting underserved communities, minority communities. We want to make sure that we keep putting out our initiative there, the 3 silent killers, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, and also hypertensive retinopathy. So we're going to continue to put out these educational webinars here so that we can have an impact around the globe. And we're just asking you, as our listeners tonight, to invite your family and friends so that they too can be educated. I'm going to have a different speaker on each month. And tonight we have a dynamic speaker. You guys go ahead and grab your favorite drink, grab some popcorn, because she is going to tell you all about low vision. This great doctor that's going to be on here tonight is Dr. Kanesha McBee, and she graduated in 2017 from University of Missouri, St. Louis, doing a great job, making an impact everywhere that she goes. She completed her residency at the VA hospital in Salisbury, New York. She did a residency in ocular disease, and she's currently working at Kaiser Permanente there in Woodbridge, Virginia there. So I'm excited to have her on, and I'm so thankful that she's going to be sharing with you guys all about low vision so that you can learn, because sometimes glasses and contacts may not always work for you, and she wants you to know that there are other resources, there are other tools that you or your family members can benefit from when it comes to low vision. So welcome to the show, Dr. McBee. I'm excited to have you on the show with me. And I know that you're going to unload a lot of great information for our listeners tonight. How are you doing today here on Juneteenth?
Oh, I'm doing good on Juneteenth.
Good. Happy
I am
Juneteenth to
good.
you.
Yes, to you as well.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. I'm so excited that you're going to share with our listening audience there. And I want them to know, guys, look, you can put your comments in the comment section below. You can ask questions. We'll try to get to questions as we're going through this presentation here, but just pay close attention to the great things that she's going to share with you, because I know that Many people are not aware of all of the things that she's going to share tonight there. So be sure to tune in. Go ahead and call up a friend, text them, and say, "Hey, get on. We're there on YouTube, National Optometric Foundation," and so that they can also listen into. We thank you all for listening in. Dr. McBee, thank you again so much for being our speaker for tonight. And I'm going to turn the show over for you, and I'll be back on with you later on.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. As he said, I am Dr. McBee, and I am going to be discussing a little bit about low vision. But before then, I need to tell y'all a funny story because when I was in optometry school back in 2017, they gave these awards out. So everybody got like a pediatric award, low vision award, contact lens award. But my whole thing is I wanted to do pediatrics. So they called my name for a low vision award. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they see something I don't see. Okay, so I get the scholarship and everything. Have not thought about low vision, went through life, went through this, and then boom, here I am today. So to Dr. Bolin from so you saw something in me, and I just want to thank you for seeing that I didn't see, because now I love low vision. Okay, so now I'm ready to get into my presentation now. All right, so understanding low vision. All right, next slide. What is low vision? So throughout this presentation, the title of my slides are going to be questions that I get often from either my provider, other providers, from patients, friends, everything. So I just wanted to expose you all to the questions that I get. So what is low vision? Low vision is pretty much vision loss that interferes with your daily living. This is the type of vision that cannot be corrected with glasses, contact lenses, medication, or surgery. Now, this type of vision can vary from person to person. So you may know someone who has one type of vision. I might know someone that has one type of vision. They may have the same exact vision, but can't do certain things the exact same way that the other person can. So it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, because I can't do this person can do this, they're low vision. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a person to person type of situation. Next slide. Are there different types of vision loss? Absolutely. You have central vision loss, and that's pretty much when you cannot see directly, like the objects directly in front of you. You have peripheral vision loss, and that's anything up, down, left, right. So while you're looking straight ahead, you can't see anything coming towards you from the sides, from the top, or from the bottom. And then we have night blindness, and that's not being able to see in low light. So one thing people hear about night blindness, they're like, oh, it only happens at nighttime. No, it's low light, which can be nighttime as well. But that's one thing that some people don't think about when they think about vision loss. And then, of course, you have blurry vision or hazy vision. So that's another thing too. And I'm going to go through a couple of these so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about with each one of these vision loss. But some people can have one of these, some people can have a combination of these, some people can have all of these. So just keep that in mind when we go through what each one of these look like. All right, so what can cause low vision? Macular degeneration, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, trauma, and different things that happen in the body. So it's an estimated 25 million people in the US now that have low vision. Majority of these people are over the age of 65, but a lot of these things that I just listed here, well, probably like diabetes and glaucoma and trauma, they can affect people well under the age of 65, especially like systemic conditions, because a lot of these can be genetic things that can cause problems too. And like he was saying earlier, with diabetes being one of the silent killers, we really have to be careful because then it can affect a lot in the body as well as in the eyes. Next slide. So first thing I wanted to show you all was macular degeneration. So that was the first thing on my list that I said can cause low vision. So the first picture is just normal vision. That's what we see. The second picture is people with vision with macular degeneration. Now, if we're just looking at that, if we're like, which type of vision loss is that? I think that'll be central, Because if you're looking straight ahead, you cannot see either of these boys' faces. You just know that someone's holding two balls. And the thing about this is that 1 in 5 people over the age of 65 develop macular degeneration in their lifetime. And it's one of the leading causes of vision loss in people over the age of 50. So to us, we may say, oh, that's just a picture that she pulled off Google with two little boys holding a ball. But to other people, this may be how they see their grandchildren, or how they see their great grandchildren, or I mean, depending on the age, nieces and nephews. So for us, it may not be a lot, but for some people, this is their world. Imagine looking at your children and only seeing what they're holding. Next slide. The next one we're going to talk about is, what I'm going to show you is glaucoma. So glaucoma, let's start at the top where you see normal vision. This is what we see. Well, people without low vision or vision impairment, this is what we see. And then at the bottom down there, it says early glaucoma. So you can kind of see the edge is getting a little dark there, but you can pretty much still see pretty much everything. And then we go to advanced glaucoma. That's where it's getting a little tricky. So you can't see the water, can't see that little brick or not brick, but log thing there. Some of the trees are missing at the top, so you just can't get the full picture. And then extreme glaucoma is pretty much tunnel vision. So going back to that list again, we have central vision. We already talked about with macular degeneration. And then we have peripheral vision, and that's what comes with glaucoma. So can you imagine a person who has macular degeneration with central vision loss and glaucoma with peripheral vision loss? Imagine what their world is every day. Next slide, please. And then here we have normal vision versus night blindness. So what we see when we go outside, get ready to drive at nighttime, is where normal vision is. But a person with night blindness, this is what they see. So you barely can see the cars on the street. You barely can see the lines in the street, let alone just the buildings and the light itself. So for someone with night blindness, can you imagine? Like, of course, they can't drive anymore. They can't participate in a lot of night activities with family or with friends, just because their vision is just not, it's just not up to par. It's impaired by the condition that's causing this. And with night blindness, it's more of a like genetic or systemic vitamin A deficiency. There's a few things that goes on within the body that can cause night blindness. And that's another key point. A lot of people just think that the eyes are separate. I don't know. Like, some people just feel like, why do you need to know my medical history? Because this is my eye exam. But we have to remember that the eyes are connected to the body. So anything that can happen in the body can affect our eyes. But a lot of people don't think it like that when they think about eye exams or optometry or anything like that. They just think glasses, contacts, glasses, contacts. But we're very, very like interested in the health of the eyes. And that's what we're really trying to get out to everybody, that it's more than just glasses. It's more than just getting a quick eye exam. Oh yeah, I did that. No, we have to look at the total thing, starting from your head and go through the body as well. All right, next slide. So I have a question here. Fact or false? Legally blind people can't see anything. They live in complete darkness. You can just answer to yourself, or you can answer it out loud. I won't judge you. I can hear you. I heard you. I heard you. All right. So next slide is false. It's very, very, very much false, because I do have a lot of people like, they legally blind. How can they do that? They're legally blind. How can they do that? It's not complete darkness. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. So next slide. So most people think that because you're legally blind or have low vision, that you're living in the darkness. And that's 100% not accurate. Now, there is a type of blindness, total blindness, where you just cannot perceive form. You cannot perceive light. And that we call no light perception. Now, that is a form of total blindness where you are kind of in the dark. But in fact, 85% of all individuals with eye disorder have some type of remaining sight. Only about 15% are totally blind. So if you hear people and they're talking about legally blind or, like vision impaired or something like that, don't question how are they able to do this or how are they not able to do that, because that's why I'm educating you, because there's a lot of people in these situations and they're able to do a lot more than what you really think that they can. Okay, next, please. So I just want to go over this chart. A lot of people see this chart and they automatically like, oh, 2020, the big E. Boom. That's the eye doctor chart. So back in the day when they actually used to do, vision screenings in schools, they had this chart on the wall and you had to read it. You cover up one eye, you cover up the other eye. So I just want to give you a general idea of what vision impairment is. So if you look at line 7, no, line 8, that's 2020, perfect vision, as they say. That's 2020. And then if you go up 2025, 2030, 2040, 2050, all that's considered pretty normal vision. Most states, in order for you to be able to legally drive, it's like 2040. So right there at line 5. But then if you get up to line 3, that's 2070. So if you're looking at that chart, I mean, that's pretty large size letters. And that's moderate vision impairment. So meaning I can't see anything under line 3. And then severe visual impairment is if you're getting to that big E and up. And then profound is like even bigger. Like I couldn't even put all of that on the chart. But just imagine it's way bigger than the big E. And then we're going to go into kind of like the visual field degrees. So just remember, severe visual impairment is 20 degrees or less. And then the profound vision impairment is 10 degrees or less. Next slide. So here's the biggest question. How do I know if I'm legally blind? I get that a lot of times. They're like, Doc, am I legally blind? Doc, can you write a letter telling my job I'm legally blind? Or Doc, what I'm supposed to do? They told me I was legally blind. Like I get all the questions about, am I legally blind? Did I just hear that and didn't even know what I was like? A lot of people hear it and don't even know what it means, don't even know what they're talking about. So I like to tell people yes or no, and this is why you're in that category of legally blind. And then people, if I tell them, oh yeah, you are legally blind, they're like, but I can still see. And I'm like, I know. Like, that's my point. I know you can start see certain things, but that doesn't mean that you can't see anything. So there's two ways. So number one, if you can see the 2020 letter, so that was that big E. Remember, that was the big E. So if you can see the big E while wearing glasses in your better seeing eye, then that makes you legally blind. So one eye can be 2200, the big E, and then the other one can't see anything above that. That puts you in legal blind territory. Now, if you have one eye that can see 2200 and the other eye that can see 2020, you're not legally blind because your better seeing eye sees very well. And then the second one that will classify you is if your visual field is 20 degrees or less. And again, this is with the better seeing eye. So we have to remember that we have two eyes. So this is with the better seeing eye. Okay, next. And again, I wanted to show you some examples of what I'm talking about. So like we showed you, 2020, you can see all those pretty much. 2070 is when we kind of start getting visually impaired there. So that TOZ line, we can see that pretty good. And then it starts to get a little fuzzy. We can kind of make some of the stuff out, but it starts to get a little fuzzy. And right now we're just looking at the computer screen. But imagine when it's on that chart, when you look at 20 feet, when you go to the eye doctor, imagine that. And then legally blind, you see that big E, we can make the big E out, but it's pretty blurry. And then, like I said, 2400, that's, severe visual impairment. And that's all the way, all that's blurry. And next is the visual field. So the first one, so in visual field, like I said, it's the surroundings. So up, down, left, right, that's the peripheral vision. So if you look at the 40 degrees, that makes it visually impaired. And then 20 degrees is legal blindness. And 10 degrees is literally what's straight ahead in front of you. So legally blind is 20 degrees. And you see why? Because imagine driving a car, but that's all you can see is the stop sign. So you can't see cars coming. You can't see pedestrians walking. So it's very important that we test these things because we need to know if you're being safe for yourself and if you're being safe for other people. So that's why legally blind, they have different criteria. Like they can't, drive cars. They can't do certain things. It's because their vision is just profoundly decreased or their visual field is like coming into one and all you can see is what's in front of you. And again, imagine if you have macular degeneration, which is central vision loss, plus this visual field. Imagine what things look like. All right, next slide. All right, so when a patient comes in to my low vision exam, there's a few things that I need to know because it really matters, like what this person day-to-day life is and what they do, what they like to do. So do you still drive? That's very important because, like I mentioned, if you're still driving and you have any one of these, I have to let you know legally you are not able to drive. And if they bring me a DMV form, I have to, peacefully resolve that situation and tell them, I'm sorry, they're not going to give you a driver's license. And so that's a big thing that happens. And taking away someone's independence, it's a lot, but also keeping them safe and keeping everybody else that's on the street safe, it means a little bit more to me. Do you live alone? Do you live with family? Do you live in a community housing? So these things are very important because your support team, it matters 100%. If you don't have anyone backing you while you're going through low vision and the journey that it has to go through, it's very frustrating, isolating, everything. And even for the people who are taking care of them, it can get to that point, frustrating, isolating. You may not know what to do. You may not know how to help this person. So that's very important. Mobility. Are you able to walk alone? Are you able to, do you use a cane? Do you use a walker? So those type of things are important as well, because I need to know, are you able to maneuver around your house, your community? Do you still cook? Do you still prepare meals? I need to know what things in the kitchen we need to do to change it around to make it more safe or easier for you to see. Grooming, same thing. Do you trim your hair? Like, do you have a hard time doing any of those things? Do you have trouble holding things? People have tremors. I think about it, I said 65 and older. So a lot of people have Parkinson's, just little tremors, arthritis. And so that can play a huge, huge part in like holding different devices. And then I need to know, are you currently wearing glasses? If not, we need to get you some that can at least help or protect the eyes. And then are you using any low vision devices? Next. And then another thing that I ask all of my low vision patients is, what's your goals? What are your goals? And they have to be realistic. So if we know we can't drive and I ask you your goal and you say to drive, then that's not a realistic goal if we already know that. But certain things like sewing or knitting, reading recipes, novels, fixing a simple meal by yourself and not having to depend on anyone to come help you with that. I had a patient, he told me his biggest goal was when his family comes over, he just wants to see their face if they're sitting on the couch because he can't see that far away. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, who that did something to me. But like some people's goals are really specific. And then some people's goals is like the simplest thing. Like, I just want to be able to see certain things. So that's very important on how I maneuver through my exam, because if you have goals, if the patient has a goal of seeing something up close, we're going to find something to help them be able to better use that vision that they have to see up close. And then if it's for distance, we're going to try to see if we can do anything for distance to help with that as well. Now, I have to let you know, though, is that all devices and everything don't work for everybody. So we have to keep that in mind. What works for one person doesn't work for the other. I've had some patients, they've come in, they tell me their goals. We tried doing this, and this, and nothing works. So sometimes that happens too. So that's a whole nother story. But we have to go in with a positive perspective saying, okay, this is the vision that I have, and we're just going to try to see if I can use what vision I do have. Next slide. All right, so before we get into this, I do want to tell you all the difference between a low vision exam and a regular exam. And I want to do this because I have patients who they come in for my regular exam. So my regular exam schedule is 20 minutes. And then I mention, okay, well, we can do a low vision exam. And then they say, well, doc, I'm already here. Can't you just do it right now? And I'm like, no, I can't, because it's a lot more that goes into low vision than it does a regular eye exam. So in a regular eye exam, what it is we, look at the health of the eye. We check you for glasses, contact lenses, and, we say our goodbyes. Low vision, though, that doesn't look at just the health and the vision. It looks at the functioning vision that you have. So we focus on what the vision that you do have, how we can make that vision, well, how we can maximize that vision to the best that we can using optical and non-optical devices to make that vision better. So there's so many times, like, I have patients come in and they are grumpy, they're upset at the world, upset at me, upset at their caregiver, just upset because their vision is not what it used to be. And trust me, I get it. I understand. When you're independent, you're used to doing things on your own, you're used to seeing things, and then all of a sudden you can't. Some people would be grumpy. Everybody might be grumpy. But one thing I do, when you come into my office, and I'm letting the world know, when you come into my office, and if you are grumpy, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a little powwow first, and then we're going to talk about the shift in the perspective. Because if we're coming in angry, then we're not going to get anything done. So if you know someone with low vision, or you currently suffer from low vision, try not to enter into that environment with a negative attitude, because that's not going to help you move forward with anything. Because at that point, anything that we show you, you're not going to like it. You're not going to, like, appreciate it. Even if it helps just a little bit, you just won't. And so I always tell my patients, I'm like, look, some people have it worse off than you. Some people can't see it all. So we have to be grateful for what we do have. And one of the things that's very important is contrast sensitivity. And that's the ability to discern a figure from its background. So that's a very important task, because some people, if you put a light object on a light background, you can't see it, you can't find it. Or a dark object on a dark background, it makes it impossible to see it. So that's one very important part. And then the most important one, next slide, please, it's trial frame refraction. And of course, I had to put myself in there. I needed y'all to see that I do work. Look at me at work right there. But I do like to pose and have a good time. So trial frame refraction, I know some of y'all look at that and think it's ancient, because it is, but it still works. And the biggest reason why we use trial frame is, think about it. Some people have central vision loss. Some people have peripheral vision loss. If they're behind that big phoropter that we put, which one is better, 1 or 2? If they're behind that, just imagine what they can see. They can only see what's right in front of them. So if they have central vision loss, that it's a fail, because they're just not going to be able to see anything. But if I put those glasses on them, they're able to move their head around so that they can see out of their sweet spot, or there may be one spot that they can see. So it lets me give them the best prescription that can help them in their daily walk and their daily living. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And I just want to thank the National Optometric Foundation for having me. Happy Juneteenth to everybody on this call and everybody out there. And I just want to go ahead and send it back to Dr. Brown, and I will be back to tell you what equipment and what things I can provide for you in a low vision exam.
Absolutely fabulous job so far, Dr. McBee. Man, you guys show her some love. Put some love down in the comment section, because she's dropping a lot of wisdom on us tonight, and I am loving it. I mean, she is just breaking it down to what low vision is, the different types of low vision, the tools and the resources there, so that when you come into her office, and she said an important thing, you're speaking my language now, come in there with a positive mindset so that we can better find out how we can help you. That's important with everything that we do, whether it's business, relationships, or working with your doctor, partnering with them so that they can best take care of you. Walk in that door with a positive mindset. I can agree with you. Many times people come to our office and they feel like we can't help them because they've been somewhere else and they didn't help them. But we always tell them, no matter what you've already been through, no matter what you've already faced, we're going to start here today with a positive mindset that you're going to leave out better than the way you came in. So kudos to you for telling the listening audience about that. And I know when you come back in part 2, you're going to drop some more nuggets. I just want to tell people here, Dr. McBee is sharing with us all about low vision. She's done an excellent job so far telling us about the different types. She mentioned about central and peripheral and night blindness, and she was talking about the different things that can cause low vision, like macular degeneration, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, other systemic diseases there. And low vision, when you have it, glasses are not working well for you, contacts are not working well for you. It's a life-changing condition. Sometimes it requires you to make sure that you have a great caregiver, someone that's going to be there as your support system to help you along the way so that you can do those things that you want to do. I mean, she shared, a gentleman saying they just want to be able to see their family members when they come over to their house. Wow, I imagine that touched you when they said that, Dr. McBee. And just being able to knit or to sew, helping people maximize their functioning vision is the goal of low vision, and finding out which device can assist you in being able to do those hobbies and do those things that you want to do again. So thank you, Dr. McBee, for sharing with us, going in detail about what legal blind is. And if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and drop the questions down there. Go ahead and drop some love down in the comment section for Dr. McBee, because she's going to come back for part 2. And we're so thankful, the National Optometric Foundation, we're so thankful to have her as our guest speaker today, sharing with our listening audience. And we ask you as a listening audience to like and share this with your church, share our website, our YouTube channel with your church, so that more people can follow us and learn as we're having different doctors on each month. Our YouTube channel, National Optometric Foundation. We also have on Facebook, where you can like our page, and we're sharing great information there all throughout the month, National Optometric Foundation. And we have a website, nationaloptometricfoundation.com, that you can go and find out more about us, what we do, who we are. And also, if you would like to contribute, a lot of you just want to do $5. That's fine. We have a Cash App, and you can do that tonight, $ protecting the vision, because what we want to continue to do is educate the community, make sure that underserved minority communities are being supported, either through eye exams, finance there, and education, so that they're not left behind, making sure that they are aware of these things that they may be too scared to go and connect with a doctor and find out about there. So we also want to support our young minds, our young people who are thinking about going to optometry school to become an optometrist in your community, your town, your city, your state. We want to continue to support them financially there as the National Optometric Foundation. And we thank our sponsors and our donors who have given and allow us to be able to do this year after year. They stand beside us and they support us as we're going through these steps here, along with the National Optometric Association. So we ask that you all will continue to tune in to these webinars here. And I'm going to go ahead and let Dr. McBee continue to share with you on part 2. Dr. McBee, come on back on the show. We welcome you back. Thank you again for the knowledge that you're dropping. I mean, it's amazing. I'm like glued to the screen, just I can't go. I got to keep listening. I mean, you're pulling me back in, and I'm remembering a lot of things when I was working in low vision at PCO as well, So great information. Continue to share, and thank you again.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, we're about to get into part 2. This is my favorite part. And it's really just going into what things I can offer. So I told you about what's going on with low vision. Now I want to tell you how I can really help, and how other low vision specialists can actually help with low vision. So the first thing, and the very, 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 very important thing, is lighting. To us, we may be like, okay, turn some of that light down, please. But to people with low vision, lighting is everything. It helps them obviously see better, their tasks that they want to do. It gives them not a wider view, but a better view of what they're looking at. But there are some pros and there are some cons to lighting as well. So when it comes to lighting, we have 2 different types. So you have like your actual room lighting, like the window light, the light that's in the ceiling. And then you also have your task light. So your task light is so if you're reading something and you have like a little lamp that's on this picture there, just like overhead of what's going on, that's what you really need to see, what you have in front of you. Now, the thing with a task light, though, you want to make sure that you have a lampshade and an adjustable arm, because glare is a big problem with low vision as well. So when it comes to the room lighting or window lighting, it's easier to reduce glare by putting your couch or your chair in front of the window where it's like your back, I guess your back is towards the window so that the light shines over you and on what you're doing so that you're not directly facing the light and it's causing a glare. So that's one thing that I like to tell my patients when it comes to how to position their houses and things like that. I mean, then as far as just the task light, like I said, you're able to adjust it, move the arm, move the shade so that glare won't be a big issue for you. All right, next. Oh yeah, magnifiers. Here we go. So there's different type of magnifiers, and I know a lot of people have heard about magnifiers. They sell magnifiers in the store. You can get them on Amazon. But here's the thing: how do you know that you're getting the correct power? That's key. Because in the store, they probably sell like a 3x magnifier. With your type of vision, you may need a 5x, you may need a 6x, but you'll never know because you don't have all of those in front of you to pick up and say, oh, let me see if I can use this one. Let me see if I can use this one or that one. So it's very I really like going through magnifiers with people because it's like this little device can give you so much power and I love it. So the people who like have problems reading or their goals is to read better, read their mail, read a novel, like magnifiers, I'm like, yes, all right, let's go. So one thing you do want is a magnifier with a light. Okay, we just talked about how lighting is important. I had a patient come in and she had a magnifier and a flashlight. That works because that's what you need. But both of your hands they're tied. You can't, like, you have to put one down to flip the page and pick it back up. So imagine the hassle that is. Whereas I show her a magnifier with a light and she was like, oh my gosh, like this is beautiful. So that's important. But what you have to remember is that, I told you there's many different magnifier powers, but the higher you go, the smaller the window is. So her magnifier was like a 3x, but it was huge. And then the magnifier that I showed her was a 5x, so it was smaller. So she loved the light, she loved the magnification, but she had to get used to moving it more because the magnifier wasn't big anymore. So I have mine here, right here. So this is what it looks like, exactly what's on that picture. And of course, you have to have a light on it. So you see how bright that light is? So when they actually put it on the paper, I mean, man, it shines on the paper. So this, it's handy. I mean, it's lightweight. You can put it in your purse. You can put it, in the bag, anything. And so this little thing right here, and this is a 5x. This is one of the ones that I prescribe a lot with my patients because it's like the perfect size, perfect magnification. But I do go up more. And if you see on the picture, the second at the bottom, do you see how small that like aperture is? That's a high magnification because I have one that's like a 13x and this thing is like this tiny. But for some people, when they move that 13x, they might get one letter at a time. But when they weren't getting anything, I would take one letter at a time and just piece together and make it the word that we need. So these hand magnifiers, gold. And then next thing we have is a stand magnifier. So the stand magnifier is good if you're going to be reading like on a table or on a surface. So I have that here. And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, it's big. And this one also has a light on it as well. I don't know if you can get a good view of that, but it has a light on it. But it has to be on a paper, and then you slide it across, kind of like this. So imagine if you're trying to read holding up a paper, this one wouldn't really be ideal because it needs to be down on the surface and you get to move it across the paper that you're reading. Now, for the third one that we have is a pocket magnifier. Now, this one doesn't come in too many powers, but it's really good. You can put it in your pocket. You at the store, you need to like take it out real quick and scan the price or something, look at it real quick and put it back in your pocket. And those come with the light as well. So magnifiers and light go hand in hand with each other. Now, let me tell you one major downfall of all of these magnifiers is if you have a patient with a tremor or if you have a patient with bad arthritis, they can't hold these devices. So then what do? So that's one thing in low vision. When a patient comes in and I ask them all those questions, the most important questions, I ask them, are they already using magnifiers? Anything like that. I have patients come in and say, oh, yeah, I used to use a magnifier, but every time I hold it, my hand shakes. So I can't see what's going on. So then I'm like, tick, 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 tick. Okay, what do I need to do next? Because magnifiers are not for this patient. Because like I said at the beginning, low vision varies patient to patient. One thing that works for one patient will not work for the other patient in some cases. It may or may not. So that's my magnifiers. I love my magnifiers. All right, let's go to the next slide. Now, we do have some hand-free options, not as many, but we do have some hand-free options for people who, one, has the tremors, dexterity problems. Other things are people who want to knit, who want to sew, or they do, close work here where they can't hold a magnifier and look at it and do it. So you have to think like, okay, their goal was they want to do something that use both of their hands. So what hands-free options do I have for up close? So obviously a high-powered reading glasses. That's always like a quick, easy go-to. Like normally in the stores, you may see like a +250, a +3, or something like that. We can go up. I had a patient the other day with a +8. And when you have a high power, you're holding things like really close. So I had a patient with that +8 and he was holding it just like this. But you know what? He was able to see it. Without it, he could not see anything on the paper. With that +8 and bringing it this close, he was able to see it without having, to hold anything. Because imagine being that close and holding a magnifier like that. So he was able to do what he needed to do with just the high-powered reading glasses. Now, this Optivisor here, I had to show y'all mine. But it just goes over, and you can put glasses underneath it. And what it is, it's a magnifier. These two are magnifiers. So when you look at something, it brings it close. And with this, you can move it in, you can move it out however you need to. If you're doing a certain device and you need both hands, you're able to do that because this magnifier does the work for you. Now, this one does come in different powers. Here I only have one power, but when I was at the VA, we had multiple powers. So if I have a patient who needs a higher power, then we can probably do that. But we like to make sure that people have hands-free options because people like to do hands-free hobbies. Hobbies that require their hands. All right. So next slide. All righty. So distance devices. We don't have as many distance devices that I would love to have, but we do have a couple. And one is just a telescope here. But you can't watch TV with this. It's not one of those let me just sit here and just watch because you're using one eye. So of course you're going to use your better seeing eye, right? So you put this and then you can really zoom in and zoom out. So one thing I like to tell people, this is for spotting. So if you need to look up at the clock really quick, zoom in, find the clock. If you're at McDonald's and you can't see the menu up top, grab this, zoom in, zoom out, find your item that you want. I want a number 3 with cheese, that type of thing. So that's what this telescope is kind of for. Now, one side, it makes things magnified, and one side, it makes things minified. So again, it goes back to which type of vision loss do I have? Do I have peripheral vision loss where I need to minify things to put it more in the center? Or do I have, center or peripheral? Whichever one works, you just flip it to the other side. So that's why I love this one. And then my Max TV, I get a lot of patients who love this. And they don't look that pretty, but when you put it on, it magnifies. So on the sides here, you can adjust them. So when you adjust it more, it brings it out more and it causes magnification to increase. And then you bring it back in and it causes magnification to decrease. Now, that guy that I was telling you, he just wanted to see the faces. Remember him? Yeah, he got these. And loved them. Let me tell you what I did. So I put it on his face. He was starting to read some of the letters. And he was like, oh my gosh, I can see stuff. And then, of course, me being me, if you know me, I jumped in front of the screen just to see if he could see my face. And he was like, girl, I see your face. So that was it was just a happy moment in the room because I was maybe 10 feet away from him. And he was able to just put these on, magnify it to the max and able to see my face. So all he has to do when his family comes over, pull out these bad boys, put them on. His grandkids may be laughing at him when he have them on, but he can see their faces while they're laughing. And that's what matters. Okay, next slide. Then we have a few electronic options here. When I was at the VA, also, I do want to put a little plug right here. If you know anyone that's a veteran that has low vision or is in the low vision department, tell them to go to the VA for low vision because when I was there, The veterans get what they need. They don't have to pay for it. They get the electronic devices that they need. And that's a really good, really good. Because some of these, what you're seeing on these screens, they can be thousands of dollars. These two right here. Well, not the bottom one, but the top one for sure. But the top one is a CCTV. And what it is, you see how that paper is on the tray there? You just move that tray and it pops up big on the screen there for you. And you see how it's white words on black letters? We can change that. And it can be, white letters on the black background. We can change it to be black on white, all about contrast. Like I was saying earlier, some people need to have that dark background to see it. And it also has like this yellow black option or something. I can't remember what it is, but it does change the contrast. And now the ruby, now I wish I had a ruby to show my patients, because the ruby, it's when patients see it, they're like, I need this now. I need it now. And it's just like the CCTV, but it's portable. And you just, like you said, you just put it on what you need. It makes it big. You can change the contrast on that as well. I do have patients that ask for electronic devices, but at the moment we don't have them. But hopefully in the future, I'll be able to not prescribe, but I'll be able to show them those options. And so, like I said, but if you're at the VA, if you're a part of the VA system, if you're a veteran, go and get it. Next slide. Fit overs. Remember I was talking about glare. So this is what I do for glare. I have patients who come in and they say, every time I'm outside, it's just so bright. It's just, I don't know, I can't do it. It's just too bright for me. So I don't really go outside that much. And I'm like, wait. No, we got to get our vitamin D. So we try these fit overs, and they go over your glasses, and we have different colors. Amber or orange is the main one that a lot of my patients like. And then, so if you are a low vision specialist on here, or if you're a student in school, remember this one thing when you're fitting fit overs. Take your patients outside. Don't do it in the exam room, because that's not natural sunlight. I take my patients and we take a field trip. We go outside where it's the sunniest, or sometimes if their mobility is not that well, we go to a window. That works too, but put them in the environment that they need to see what they can do with it. Same thing with the goals. I ask them when I'm talking about knitting or sewing, I'm like, bring it in, bring all your stuff in. I need to see if you can see what you want to do with what you want to do it with. So, I have little things like, I have my little breakfast box from one of my meals, because people are like, I want to read the instructions on the back of the box. I have that. I have a newspaper. So I have a lot of things here, but it's just more special and more important if you can have them bring in their things. And so they can see, oh, this prescription really helps me do what I need to do, versus us guessing. All right, next slide. So the ones that I just went over, those are the things that I personally do in office. But the next few slides are things that I just want you to know that they're out there. So I do tell my patients about these things, because they're very vital to your daily living. So I do just want to let you know that there's other things out there that you can do as well, that they can use. So we have different talking options. So we have the talking clock. You click the button, it reads you the time. Simple. We have a talking watch. Same thing. You click one. It is limited to the buttons it has. You click the button, tells you the time. One of them might tell you the date as well, but it tells you the time. And the good thing about it is it just slides on your arm. So you don't have to worry about trying to see it, to fasten it or buckle it or anything like that. So a lot of patients do love that. Next slide. Here's two that I just really learned about. So this talking money identifier, I was like, excuse me, I just didn't know about it. I don't know where I've been, but you literally just put a bill in there and it reads out, what bill it is. And then for some people, you're like, okay, that's a little excessive, or that's a little much. No, I had a patient, y'all. He says, when the yard man comes to cut his grass, he hopes that he give him the right amount of money, because he can't see his bills. So he has to pray that the people who he give money to are honest people, because he literally just cannot see what bill is what. He don't know if people are giving him correct change. He just has to go with it and hope that they're honest if he goes anywhere by himself or if he's by himself. So I was like, wow, they was talking about a whole different government program, little thing like this, and it's an app on your phone. But I found this one, and I'm like, this is just as good too. And it comes with like an ear jack. So if you want to put the headphones in, if you don't want anyone to know what you're doing, then you can do that too. And then this thing over here is the color identifier. You literally just put it up to the color and it tells you what it is. So if you want to make sure your clothes match or your accessories in your house match, you can definitely just put it up there and they'll tell you, oh, that's pale red. So I love that too. Next slide. Of course, we have audiobooks, audio Bibles. The library is the best source to start at. They have free audio stuff. So go to your local library and see what they have audio wise. That's very important because I have a lot of people who are avid readers. And when their vision goes out, they feel like it's the end of the world for them. And I'm like, no, we have audiobooks. Go find one. And then they're really appreciative of that. And I mean, when my patient asked me for this landline, I was like, excuse me, we still do landlines. But she said it's just easier for her because she used to be able to program her children's number. So, like, number 1 was her son, number 2 was her daughter. And I was like, I didn't think, I forgot about that. And so they have phones like that. And then you see the contrast. All these things are coming together, white on black or black on white. That's very important for some people. So if you know they have a contrast problem, you need to figure out which one is the best for them and then tell them to get that one. And next. And some large print material. They have large print Bibles, books, crossword puzzles, calendars, address books. So that's also a big thing too. Like, some people's vision is not that bad. They just need it to be in larger print. So then that's also an option. Prepare your kitchen. A lot of people like, look, I'm not trying to get out of my kitchen. I still want to cook. I still want to do my thing. And I'm like, all right, let's see what we can do to help you though. I have a few patients who pouring liquids is kind of hard for them. So even if you know someone, whether it's vision or just age, if you feel like they're pouring and they're spilling or they're pouring on themselves, that top right one is a liquid indicator. So it beeps once it gets to a certain limit and then they know to stop. And then the contrast sensitivity cups there, and then the cup chopping board, black on one side, white on the other side. Contrast is key. Don't put your dark items on the dark side. Don't put your light items on the light side. And then the thermometer, the talking thermometer, so you can put it in your meat, know what your temperature is, without having to cut and see what the meat looks like. These bump dots, if you use certain buttons on your microwave, you can put that on there. Your stove, some people may accidentally go to 8 instead of 2, or they thinking they know which direction they're going on their stove. But if you put a bump dot on the high side, if you're turning it that way, it's going to be really hot. Even for your keys, if you want, I just want to know which one is my house key in case of emergency. Put a bump dot on there. Washing machine, dryer, put your bump dot on your start and your stop button. That way it's easier for you to kind of maneuver through your house. Next. And yes, people with low vision and vision impairments can still have fun. They can still do all these activities. So all the balls you see here, they all have little bells and they jiggle. So you can hear where they are. When you pass it, you kind of use your sound to know where they are. And that blue one, that's a beeping Easter egg. So my St. Louis people over on here, y'all already know I'm about to go. So in St. Louis, they do a big Easter egg hunt for all of the vision impaired children at the foundation. And what we do is we lay all the Easter eggs out. We turn them on. They just start beeping. And all the kids just go out. You would think it's just regular children just out doing the Easter egg hunt. Oh, man. They got their baskets. They out there getting those beeping eggs. And it's very, it's so, it's just amazing to see because you're like, these children, they're like 6. They're using walking canes and everything, but they're out there having a good time. Easter egg getting their face painted. It's not stopping them. They're out there having a really, really good time. And so if you're in St. Louis or you want to take your child, a vision impairment to this, reach out to me. Let me know. I'll give you the information about that. Next slide. More fun stuff. So they have large print cards, dice with where you can feel to see how many pegs are on there. Giant Uno. This chessboard is different little pegs on it, so you can know what is what. I don't know much about chess, but it's a really hot commodity. And then bingo, where you don't have to feel around for the chips. If you have a magnifier, you can just slide it up. And then lastly, your iPhone has so many different features on it. Me and my fiance were going over it the other day, and I was like, dang, I didn't know my phone could do this. So there's voiceover, type and feedback, audio descriptions, a magnifier, display and text size, zoom, reduce motion. Apple even have a low vision number that you can call, and they can really go through your phone with you and like set it up for what helps you the best. So getting to the end here, but I just want you to let you know that majority of insurance do not cover this equipment. So that's why I said if you're a veteran, reach out to the VA. Your state association, they have different programs. Some of them are income based, but they do have those programs. There's vision rehabilitation services, and those are the people who they come out, they kind of go through your house with you, teach you how to use a cane, they teach you how to rearrange your house, your kitchen, like how to maneuver through the community. They go through these things with you, and all these things are very important for us to learn about, because statistics show that by 2030 the number of Americans with visual impairments are projected to reach 7.2 million, with 5 million having low vision. So I mean, this is kind of important for us to go over. Next, and so my takeaway points: ask your optometrist if you qualify for low vision and if you can be referred. So to all my optometrists on here, know where your local low vision specialist is, because when someone asks you about it, you want to be able to give them the proper information in a timely manner. And it's just very important, because a lot of people, like up here in Virginia, it's not that many that I know of. And so a lot of local optometrists will probably have a hard time. So just go ahead and be prepared, because you may have some people ask you about it. Just understanding that having low vision doesn't mean that your life has to stop. Understanding that living with low vision can be challenging. It can cause isolation, depression, frustration, and anxiety. But remember that perspective. We have to have a positive perspective. And we must support those with low vision. You got to educate yourself about low vision. Advocate for accessibility for your family members, your friends, your strangers, and support the cause. There's different reasons, like there's different organizations that ask, for donations just to do small things to help with the low vision community. So be aware of those things that's going on. Next. And these are just some of the resources or places that you can go if you need low vision devices or just want to read about certain low vision things there. And I just want to thank you all. I just had to put me and my fiance on here because we're about to get married. But that is my information. I am at Kaiser Permanente in Woodbridge, Virginia. So if you're on here, you have Kaiser insurance and you know someone with low vision or don't know if they have low vision and just want to check it out and see, please come to me. We have one here. We have 2 in Virginia and 2 low vision specialists in Virginia and 1 in Maryland. So reach out to us if you need to, or if you're like, I need to reach out to you because I'm in this state and I don't know who to go to. I'll help you. We'll figure it out. Just reach out to me. There's my email there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. You have done a fabulous job unpacking so much wisdom for our listeners. And if you go on our YouTube channel, you'll see the love that the people are showing. And I'm encouraging them right now, continue to put your comments in there. She will see them. She'll go back and look at them, read them. Thank you guys for showing her so much love. I applaud you. I'm proud of you. I remember we were working next to each other in Texas at the NOA convention doing a community event there. We had a blast. And look at you now. You have grown so much. And this is so beautiful to see you on a different side of optometry, helping people there at the VA hospital, impacting lives. And I'm just so proud of you. And folks, you heard it straight from her mouth. She's getting married. So she's off the table. She's off the table, folks. Congratulations, Dr. McBee. I am so happy for you and wishing you guys nothing but the best with your upcoming wedding as well there too. You continue to do great things for your community. Continue to do great things there within your family. You are definitely a role model. You're a role model for Black and brown bodies that's listening to you, that see you, and you're a great role model for those in your family as well. So thank you for taking this opportunity to be here on our webinar, educating our community there. The audience is going crazy. They're showing you so much love.
Thank you for having me.
Down in there. Thank you, guys. Look, Dr. Jones is telling you did an awesome job. The president of the NOA just told you did an awesome job. So look at that. What
Thank
more
you.
can
I
I say
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
when Dr. Larry Jones says something? What more can I say? You know.
Right. That's
So,
it. That's it.
but I'm so thankful. Thank you for sharing it with them. All of the tools that they can use. And one thing that stuck out for me is that you told them just because you're facing challenges with low vision, life does not have to come to a stop. I love that. I love that. That's my takeaway from here. All of you who are facing challenges with your vision, life does not have to come to a stop. There is hope. There is help. And Dr. McBee just told you all about the help that you can get there. I mean, I had no idea about the money identifier there.
I was
That's
like,
that's
what?
amazing. The
Right.
color identifier. That's amazing. That those devices are there. The portable Ruby.
Mhm.
That's great stuff there. So thank you so much. We will definitely in 2024 look in your direction again and invite you back, and
Please.
we'll learn then your married name
Oh,
there in
yeah.
2024 when you come back on the show and share with us again there. So thank you again. I'm gonna close out the show. I appreciate you for sharing. Is there anything else that you would like to say to our listening audience before you go?
No, just for any students or current optometry students that are on here, I know you're probably thinking, I will never use trial frame refraction. Remember your trial frame refraction, okay? And one other thing is that while you're in optometry school, you may not know what path you're actually going to end on. You may think you got it all together and you know which way you're going to go, but just keep an open mind throughout your optometry career, because where your life will take you, you would be surprised.
Absolutely. That's great. Great closing thoughts. Great closing thoughts there from you, Dr. McBee. Thank you again for being on the show. We wish you the best in all that you're doing. Continue to do what you're doing there for our veterans there at the VA hospital there. And I'll see you, hopefully, if you come near the area soon there, please look me up. I'll be glad to
Yes,
hang out with you.
absolutely. Yes.
We'll have lunch together, and I might see you at one of the NOA conventions there as
Yes.
well. So
Thank
you have
you.
a great evening. Yes,
You do
yes.
the
I'm gonna close
same.
out the
Thank you
show.
all. Okay.
Yes. Again, thank you all for tuning in for a fabulous. I told you that this was going to be a great guest speaker, and there you have it. She did a fabulous job, Dr. Kanesha McBee. Thank you for doing such an awesome job there. You guys can follow her on her social media pages there. You can go see her if you're local there in Woodbridge, Virginia there. So she's doing great work, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I also want to make an announcement. Coming up in July the 5th through the 9th, the NOA, the National Optometric Association, will have their awesome convention in Fort Lauderdale at the Westin. You can still register to attend. They're going to start it out with a one-day trip to the Bahamas, and then they're going to bring it back in, and they're going to do the community event as well as a lot of courses that they have there. So be sure to go on the National Optometric Association website, and you can find out more details there as well. So the National Optometric Foundation, we appreciate you guys for tuning in with us on this fabulous webinar. We ask you to continue to follow us. We have our website, we have our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel that you can follow, you can like, you can subscribe, and share it with your family, your church members, your co-workers, as well as we continue to educate communities, protecting the vision, serving underserved communities, making sure that we are highlighting the silent killers of your vision: glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, and hypertensive retinopathy. We look forward to share with you again in July as we bring on another guest speaker, another hot topic. So tune in, get on our page, follow us so that you too can have the opportunity to be able to listen in for our next guest speaker. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for supporting the National Optometric Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization, and we want to continue to do these great things for our community. Hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you on our next webinar. This is Timothy Brown signing off as the treasurer for the National Optometric Foundation.